This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it's time for What in the World with Paul Siebert and his sidekick, John Donalo, and the Worldwide Globe as well. That is our new buddy on this show. And it is Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we're all here.
Wow, we are.
Outstanding.
Does that mean we have another co-host, Karen? The John's Globe is the
John's Globe, because it provides us information during the show.
Oh, I guess it does. And the name of that show, of course, is What in the World? Everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. I'm Paul Siebert, your host. Thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us live. You know, we always have a little contingent of live folks. Thank you so much for joining us live on YouTube at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time, usually on Tuesdays. We are in Northeast Ohio, and it is hot today. We checked right before the show. It's 94 degrees at 3:30, so that's pretty darn hot for the first couple of days of summer in Cleveland. But we're doing fine. John's Globe is sweating, but that's okay.
The globe is working, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. That's right.
The globe is working. That's right.
So thank you so much for joining us. If you're joining us live, if you're joining us in the future on one of our platforms, thank you for listening to us. If you're watching on YouTube, which we always recommend, thank you for doing that. We do have some photos that go along with the stories. They always enhance the story. If you came to us from Facebook, again, this week was another big week for me on Facebook for some of the stories that I posted. So if you're coming on Facebook, thank you so much for doing that and for following me on Facebook. Let me introduce everybody to you if it's your first time here. The first voice you heard was Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our platform. Go to newclevelandradio.net for all the information on how to download us, find us on YouTube, and then check out all the other great podcasts Karen has there, all different varieties of podcasts, nothing like What in the World, thank goodness. But
that's quite a disclaimer, Paul.
And better than that, if you need some help on the coaching front, Yes I Can Coaching with Karen is headquartered there. You can get all the information on that. That is one of our sponsors. So thank you so much for that as well. The other voice that you hear in your other ear is none other than our other host of What in the World of Sports, my old buddy, John Donalo. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, I'm well, Paul. And like you said, again, we're all kind of working through the heat, but we're all in air conditioning, thank goodness. And the great news about today's show is that we are live.
We are live. That's right. So you get to find out some cool things. Before we get into what we'll be talking about today, I want to mention we had a number of lunches this week with fans of the show. So I have my list here. John and I both had lunch with fan of the show, Tom S., who is a college friend of ours, a member of the fraternity that we always mention. Tom still to this day wants us to move back to Joe Max Donuts to do the show because
it sounds like
there once and we had him on the show. I can't convince him that Joe Max is closed. It's no longer Joe Max. I also had lunch with another person we talk about on the show occasionally, Don, our Bigfoot fan down in Florida, high school friend of mine. He was passing through town on his way to Washington State to look for what else? Bigfoot. So had a great lunch with him and also with friend of the show, Mel, who John and I both know from various places. And finally, I had lunch with Joel, who I've known for years. He's now the spouse of my cousin. Thank you, Joel, for he didn't buy lunch, so I'm not thanking him for that. Nobody bought us lunch, John.
That's how it is, Paul. That's what happens to people of our ilk. Just leave it.
But anyway, if you're in the Cleveland area and you listen to the show, please let me know, and we'll be more than happy to meet you for coffee or lunch or whatever you would like to do. Other than a punch in the nose. Don't we're not okay, so we've got some great stories this week. Remember, if you're new, None of the mainstream media news on what in the world. No world news, no business news, national news, no religion, nothing controversial. We stick to the weird, strange, and fun stuff from around the world, sometimes around the universe, and we try to have fun with it. That's the name of the game at What in the World. Real news, sometimes strange, always fun. So let's get that part started right now. What do we got going on? We got a bunch of listeners down in Texas. So this is a story about the scary gift that a Texas man got from his ex-girlfriend. Now, it's not herpes, okay? It's something else.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
A cheesy world record from Colombia. You know how much we love world records. So this one is a cheesy record from Colombia. Why mobility scooters may be banned in England. This is an interesting one. Not that any of us ride mobility scooters, but if you do, and you're in England, you want to listen to this. We've got a Loch Ness monster sighting by a huge fan of Nessie, and some more places in the U.S. to vacation and see Bigfoot. So this summer, if you haven't planned your vacation yet, we'll help you out. We've got some real fast food from Lake Erie. So
okay, wow, local
fans,
to
yeah.
us.
This
Local
is
to us.
on the lake, fast food on the lake. And the best bathroom in an African desert. If you're on vacation in Africa and you need to go, we've got just the place for you.
Wow.
Karen can't wait to hear that one. Are you going to Africa soon, Karen?
Oh, sure. Next week.
Okay, let's see. Well, we got some more news. We got some world records. We've got trivia all the time. We've got John's got a strange sport for us as always, and then we play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. Okay, let's get right to it with the huge news from Texas. So, we want to get our photos lined up here. So while I'm talking about the huge news from Texas, let's get our photo. There's our logo. There's our other sponsor. What would you say to a naked space alien? My new book, now available on Amazon. Google my name, Google naked alien. It will come up, or go to paulsevern.com, my website. I have a link to where you can take a look at it and decide for yourself if you'd like to learn more about naked aliens and more of my favorite alien stories. Okay, big news out of Texas. A man in Waco got a package in the mail from his ex-girlfriend, which is never a good thing. Never a good thing to get something from your ex-girlfriend, because she's already thrown all your stuff out the window. So it's not your clothes, right, John? It's not your clothes.
No, it's not your clothes.
Could be a bomb.
Let's
Could
leave
be
it at
worse.
that.
It
Just
could
leave
be
it at that.
This is Texas. It could be a rattlesnake. People
Oh.
like to do that. They put rattlesnakes in boxes and send them to people. This was even worse than a rattlesnake. He opened it up, and it was filled with lotions from Bath and Body Works. Now, he's terrified. Why is he terrified? Because all of us guys who are married or have girlfriends live in houses with bathrooms that are filled with lotions of every kind that don't belong to us.
Apologies to Karen there. Apologies.
Yeah.
Actually, my bathroom looks nothing like that.
No?
No.
You keep your stuff locked away so your
Yes, I
husband
do.
doesn't use it?
Yep, you got it.
Well, this looks scary to me. And it always scares me because there's an order that you're supposed to put these things on. And I always fear, I think, oh, I got a little bit of dry skin, maybe I should put some on. I'm afraid that I'm going to mix them in the wrong order. And, but it'll be spontaneous combustion in the bathroom. All that'll be left. Yeah, it'll be a jar of hand cream and a pile of ashes on the floor.
Oh, boy.
And my lovely wife looking for the insurance policy and singing and dancing. So anyway, so even worse than he takes the bottles out of the box, and that's when he finds the worst thing. And here's a picture of his lovely ex-girlfriend and what she sent him. She sent him a photo of herself holding a completed marriage license, which he never signed, but it has his signature. Or he did sign. I'm sorry, he did sign it, but they never filed it. Well, she managed to find a minister who would authorize it. So they are now legally married, and that's what she, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she when they were still together, they had obtained the marriage license, and then they broke up. So then she filed it with the county clerk. So now all that's left, hire a DJ and a wedding cake. It's
Yeah.
whether he's there or not, she apparently doesn't care. I'm sure she's filing for credit cards and all kind of stuff in the joint name. So this is Texas, and I lived in Texas for 28 years. Texas has all kind of weird laws and rules and everything like that. So she broke a law, and the police came and they charged her with a crime. Now, not fraud, which you would think would be the logical thing, not fraud. They charged her with third-degree felony stalking.
Oh my gosh. How did
Yeah.
they connect that? Wow.
Well, here's what I thought, John, because I couldn't figure it out either. The only thing I can think of is that the bottles of lotion were made from celery. So she was stalking
Oh,
Oh.
oh,
her
Oh.
ex-boyfriend.
Okay. Okay.
oh.
We're going forward here.
Apparently, if you mail something, if you don't mess with the mail. So because the mail was involved, I think that's how they got the stalking thing in on it. I don't,
Wow.
It's Texas. That's all I can say. Thank goodness I don't have any ex-girlfriends anymore that are, doing things like that for me. Okay. All right. We're going to Colombia. John, spin that globe and point to Colombia for us.
I'd be happy to. Let me get right here to South America.
South
And
America, yes.
Colombia is right here, folks. You
Okay.
can see it right there.
All right.
Colombia's
Turn
right
the
there.
globe.
You know, I'm turning
Roll
it
the
here.
globe.
It's best I can do. Wait.
Yeah, we need to
raise it up there.
get him a stand, Karen. We need to get John a stand. So
Yeah.
We can do that. But Colombia's
oh,
right
that's
here.
good.
It's right.
Well, we see where your finger is. Okay. All right.
It's right next to Venezuela, which is a very big
Oh.
country.
So this is a world this is a world where I'm thinking that just reminded me of voodoo dolls. You know how you have those voodoo dolls and you stick a pin in them and somebody else feels the
Yeah.
stabbing? Yeah. I'm thinking the poor people in Colombia, if John had a voodoo globe and he stuck his finger.
Oh no! Hey, listen, I don't want to be delivering
the
pain.
sky is dark,
Oh no! You know what? I don't want to be
barometric
delivering
pressure is
pain.
bearing down on
Oh
him.
my
We
lord!
apologize to everyone in Colombia for John's finger. Okay, so this world record in Colombia had nothing to do with cocaine, nothing to do with escaped hippos, which is a big problem in Colombia. It has to do with cheese. The Guinness World Records people confirmed that the Alpina Dairy Company earned a record for the world's largest cheese tasting event. They had 1,185 people all in the same location sampling cheeses made by the Alpina company. So there's a picture of just a few of the people. That's maybe 20 or 30 people. 1,185 people, all with
Wow.
a little container of cheese in front of them. A lot of people eating cheese. Almost 1,200 people eating cheese. Long line at the porta potty. Because of
I bet. I bet.
and an even longer line at the prune juice stand.
Oh boy.
Eating all that cheese, it's just cheese is not good for the system. So the Guinness people said that the rules require all participants to sample 3 varieties of cheeses. Here's the team that led the whole thing and their Guinness certificate right there. So the cheeses that they chose for this event were Gruyere, Sopo, and Argovia. So, John, I know you've had Gruyere.
Gruyere, yeah, sure. That's good.
Here's the picture of the container that they were sampling. Not a whole lot of cheese in each one, but there they are, 3 little individual containers.
Okay.
So, Gruyere, for those of you who don't know, is a hard Swiss, which is also the answer to the question, what kind of man do European women prefer?
Oh, jeez. Hey, this is a family show, Paul. Don't forget about that.
Oh, wait, there's more, John. So Sopo, the one in the middle, is a queso. So it's a good melting cheese, for dipping. It's a white cheese. It's a white cheese, good for melting and dipping, they said. If you add jalapenos, you'll be melting and dripping, so they say.
Oh,
So, yeah, there you
I get
go.
that. I get that.
Yeah. And then the last one on the end is Argovia, which is their specialty. Argovia is a semi-hard cheese. Now, John, I'm not going to do any semi-hard jokes there. So, but I'll
Thanks.
let here's how the company describes their Argovia. They said it's soft but racy. Soft but racy. I thought that's what white cheese was, soft but racy. I don't,
Kind of a mixed signal in a way.
yeah, it really is. I didn't quite understand it. So the media covered this. This was a big event. They called it a passionate gathering of cheese enthusiasts, which, I find that hard to believe that they were passionate since I don't see any wine on the table.
Yeah.
Right. That's the compliment to cheese, as we all know. Of course.
There you go. Yeah. So congratulations to the people of Colombia for their world record. Okay, this was a huge story on Facebook this week. I was very surprised at how big this story was. So, this is from England. So if you're riding mobility scooters in England, you need to tune into this. The Idlewild Shopping Center in Sutton in Ashfield. I love the names of these towns. Sutton in Ashfield, England, has begun enforcing a 4 miles per hour speed limit on mobility scooters after some senior riders were terrorizing other shoppers on their souped-up models that reached up to 8 miles an hour. So here's somebody. This looks like a guy. He just left the grocery store, just zooming down the street with his Cheerios and Weetabix in the front basket of his mobility scooter. So they said it got so bad at the grocery store that when they announced the pileup on aisle 5, there would be rubbernecking traffic jams in aisle 4 and aisle 6, looking to see, who got run over and who ran into who.
Wow.
Worse than the freeway, yeah. So just like on the road, repeat offenders in the grocery store were locked in the cooler. So
that's extreme, I would think.
Yeah. And they're apparently you could soup them up even faster than that. But if you go speeding in the Asian food aisle, by the way, then your scooter immediately becomes a Formula Wonton. So
that deserves the horn, Paul, for sure.
You think so? I don't know. I'm not sure that one does even deserve the horn there. So this is in a mall, the Idlewild Shopping Center mall. So they're terrorizing everybody. They're allowed to take their scooters out and go into other stores. So everybody's is afraid to go on the sidewalk because of these scooters. They run over people's feet, they said. So I'm thinking maybe it's the shoe stores that are promoting this to get people to come in and buy new shoes after their shoe gets run over by one of these scooters. Or I just had lunch with my buddy Bill. The podiatrist office could also be sponsoring this, to get more.
Oh yeah, sure.
To the podiatrist. John knows Bill, yeah, our friendly neighborhood podiatrist. They're also bumping into people, which to me, it sounds like these people are just bored from playing bingo and they're looking for a new game.
They need some kind of a release, huh?
Yeah, a new game. John, this would be a great game if we could invent this game for the sports segment.
Well, let's keep that under consideration, Paul.
Well,
we'll talk about that after the show.
This is for you. You're the scorekeeper, so keeping track of how would you score a game where people use their mobility scooters to bump into other people.
So, it's a lot of open territory, so to speak. It's a clean sheet, as the expression goes, in terms of what we come up with, right? So, stay tuned, everyone. Make sure you stay tuned.
Here, I'll give you some suggestions so you can work on a score sheet for us.
Okay, sure.
So if you're riding your scooter and you bump into somebody and you get a dirty look, that's 1 point. If they give you the finger, that's 2 points. If you bump into them and they fall down, that's 3 points. If you get out the door before they get up and catch you, that's 4 points. How about it?
I like that scoring system there. I think it's kind of based on a meritocracy, yeah, so to speak, right? Yeah, I like it. I like it, Paul, a lot. It's very
So
fast.
so they said that not only are they beefing up the speed on these things, but they're customizing these mobility scooters. And they said, I quote, they said they're really jazzy and some look like Ferraris. So I was looking for one that looked like for a Ferrari. I couldn't find one, but I did find this one. This one looks like a Rolls Royce.
Oh,
So
geez.
this guy, this is a
Wow.
mobility scooter from England.
Wow.
That looks like a Rolls Royce. The guy, he's riding it. He's all dressed up like a driver. Um, I can just see him. I can see somebody pulling up next to him and saying, "Do you have any Grey Poupon?" And he says,
Yep.
"Yeah." He says,
That's a great reference to that commercial from years ago,
"Oh, no
Paul.
kidding. Yeah." What does he respond with? He says, "Well, no, I'm wearing Depends." So
Oh.
I'm not going to honk the horn again.
All right, that's okay. That's all right.
But that's a beautiful one. I like this one too. This guy must have been a retired general. His is on
Wow, yeah, he's got it's like an
rollers,
armored
like a
it's like a armored car. Look at that. Wow.
armored. Yeah, he a combination of a tank.
Mhm.
He's got all kind of gears all over the place. It's unbelievable. And then
Wow.
this one right here is
Oh my
decked out
God.
like a high heel, Karen. Isn't it
Yeah, it
beautiful?
does.
Um, the This is the perfect car for running over feet. Um,
What a use.
So if when I reach that age, I couldn't find one, but what I want is a mobility scooter that looks like a riding mower, because then for sure people would get out of my way if I'm going down the aisle in the
Yeah, I
grocery
bet.
store. Get a baseball card, and put it in the spokes of the wheel so it sounds really loud.
Back in the
There,
day.
now
That was
there's an
done
old
back in the
reference for
day.
you, John.
Sure. That's a great reference, Paul and Karen, and audience. Great reference.
Okay, so we've got some. I mentioned we have some Loch Ness monster and Bigfoot stories here. So John, be ready for this here.
I will.
So there's a lady from Canyon, Texas. Her name is April Newton. What a great name, April Newton. April says she has waited 50 years dreaming of visiting Loch Ness and looking for the monster. And her wish was finally granted. She and her friend saved up enough money. They went to Loch Ness. Um, as soon as they got there, they immediately rented a trip on one of the boats, the monster sighting boats that they have all over the place. And within minutes, she's on the back with her friend. Within minutes, they saw this. They saw multiple humps floating in the lake that she swears was the Loch Ness monster. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, she didn't even stop to buy a T-shirt or anything. She just went right back of the boat, and there she is. So that's the first thing she saw. So she said the water was calm. There were no other boats around, so it's not a boat wake. It doesn't look like rocks. It doesn't look like waves from a boat. She said the other passengers were facing the front, the dummies, looking out the front window and listening to the captain give his spiel and probably selling T-shirts and selling little shots of scotch for them to drink while they're heading out to his favorite spot. So they missed the encounter. Here's another photo that she took. She took a number of photos of what looked like a serpentine Loch Ness monster going over there. And that's the way she described it. Several serpent-like humps appeared at once. They caused rings of water to ripple out. It's like something was rising from below. Says I've seen illustrations of her looking like a large snake or a dinosaur with a long neck, but the guide thought that they definitely showed something strange. Now, what she did was when she was done, it was up for like a few seconds. She said maybe 10 or 15 seconds, enough for her to get some photos. And then she ran up and showed it to the captain and the guide. And they said, number one, they were mad. Why didn't you tell us so everybody else could see it? But then he said, this looks like the Loch Ness monster to me. He says he had been doing this for years and hadn't seen anything like that before. So, I would have thought that they would have at least given her a prize for seeing it, a free T-shirt or some
Right, right.
yeah.
Hmm.
So she says people say monster sightings are just a natural phenomenon coupled by a wild imagination. I don't think so. John, before I go on any further, you've seen both of the pictures. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's plausible, right? I think those could be monsters or could be the Loch Ness himself, but it's still too distant. I think that's the problem with those photos is they're really taken at a distance, so you really can't. Even if even I know you're blowing it up to make it a little bit larger, it's really
Right.
hard. But put it in the category of it could be. That's what I would say.
Could be, yeah. You can't. It's hard to eliminate it with
Yeah, definitely,
any other reasons.
definitely.
And they're close to the shore. I mean, there's a boat in the background, but it's
Yeah,
far enough
sure.
away. Or no, I think that's a house on the shore.
House. Okay. All
Yeah, I
right.
think that's a
Sure.
house on the shore. So,
Okay.
anyways, so here's the lovely lady April, standing on the shore. So, she's so excited. She just gets to Loch Ness. She um, gets to see the monster. So now she's on the shore and her friend is taking her picture. Now, the first thing that came to my mind, and the reason for this is that this is the 50th anniversary of the movie Jaws. Jaws premiered 50 years ago, 1975. This would be the perfect photo for a giant Loch Ness monster with fangs.
Oh, it would be.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh
I agree,
man,
Paul. Yeah, I
it would
would. Sure.
the
Sure.
opening scene for our new movie about the Loch Ness monster. Um, I was thinking about that. John, I know, and Karen, I know you guys both have seen that movie a number of times.
Oh,
Do you
sure.
remember the first time you saw it?
I do, as a matter of fact. And I saw it
Yeah.
at the movie theater. And there were a couple of scenes that really spooked me. I mean, a couple of the underwater scenes,
Oh yeah.
where the person's head appears and his eye is gouged out, and also isn't there a scene where like a person's leg descends from the top of the water to the bottom,
Yep.
if I remember correctly? But
Yep.
yeah, it was a phenomenon at the time. It really
Yep.
was.
Yeah. The Karen, you do you remember when you saw
I've watched it with my eyes closed most of the time.
it?
Okay, okay,
That's funny. They're interviewing people the people that are still with us from the movie, and they interviewed the son of the sheriff, the little kid who played the sheriff,
right. Uh-huh.
and he was just I think he was 4 years old, and he said that his parents wouldn't let him see the movie until he was well into his teens. He starred in the movie, yeah, they wouldn't let him see it, so he said it scared him. The lovely Donna and I we were engaged by then, and we were talking about it. We went to see it, and I remember she jumped right out of her seat when the first time the shark showed up. So,
Yeah,
but
oh yeah.
and I also bought the book. I remember reading the book first, and it's hard to believe that the book was just as scary as that movie was.
Really?
It was such
Wow.
a well-written story that uh, you know Steven Spielberg did a super job of doing the movie, but Peter Benchley did a super job of giving him one heck of a story to write about. Um, so we went to the theater. We saw it on a movie theater in with a bunch of other people who are just as terrified as we are. People are watching that movie today for the first time on their cell phone.
Yeah.
You can't get scared by Jaws on your cell phone. Don't tell me you can. I've had people say,
Something that doesn't connect on that.
no, no, John. It's like watching Curious George and saying,
Oh,
"Oh, that's just like King Kong." Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very, very good comparison, Paul. Very
Yeah,
good
it's King
comparison.
King Kong only smaller. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not.
Right? No, no, I agree with you. Wow.
So anyways, so congratulations to April for seeing it. That particular sighting, if you're keeping score, has not yet been added to the official Loch Ness Monster Register. So those of you who follow me on mysteriousuniverse.org, once it is, I'll probably be mentioning it again on that website. So make sure you check there. Okay. All
Good.
right. So if you're planning your vacation and you want to go someplace where you might have a shot at seeing Bigfoot, we got just the places for you to go. So here's the first one. So last week we talked about we talked about this for a couple weeks now, the Bigfoot sighting in Monroe, Michigan, which is just across the border from Ohio on the way to, north of Toledo, south of Detroit, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Man and his son saw what they thought was Bigfoot. They didn't get their camera out in time to take a picture, but the people of Monroe were all excited. The marijuana dispensary in Monroe was so excited that they offered a free joint to anyone who brought a good picture of Bigfoot into the store.
That's
And
kind of an incentive, I guess, huh?
oh
Wow.
yeah. Well, they said that it had to be a clear photo and you had to be able to see Bigfoot without being stoned. So you get to be stoned once they verify that it's a
There
clear
you go. That's a
photo of
good
Bigfoot.
condition, Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So by the way, no one has collected on the joint so far. So I know you're not surprised at that, John.
No, I am not.
Okay, so believe it or not, at the other end of Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, the UP. Now, you Michigan people, that's you. If you hold up your hand, the UP is what, this part up here or this part here?
No, it's up here.
Up.
It's above the mitten.
It's above the mitten. Oh, it's
Yeah.
above the mitten. Okay.
Okay.
The UP. Okay. So in the UP, in the city of Menominee, Menomine, a Native American name. In the city of Menominee, there's a marijuana dispensary that is it's called Higher Love. Great name, Higher Love Cannabis Dispensary on 1400 8th Avenue. For those of you who are planning a trip, located just below the bridge as you enter Menominee from Wisconsin, which is on the border. They have erected a 14-foot Bigfoot statue.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. The 14-foot tall Sasquatch at the southwest corner of their property. Now that's an impressive statue, 14 foot. You put that in your backyard and you're going to scare the squirrels, around here, where they're going to scare the coyotes, definitely scare your drunken neighbors. I want to point out something for those of you who need some incentive to look on YouTube. This Bigfoot statue, unlike most Bigfoot statues, is somewhat anatomically correct. Either that or he's wearing a Speedo underneath his fur.
Ay.
Do you see what I'm describing there?
Yes.
Yeah, really.
So I want one, obviously, 14 foot tall. That is the most menacing Bigfoot statue I have ever seen. So of course, there's some people who love it, but there's residents of Menominee who hate it. They said that this Bigfoot is giving our children a feeling of friendship and trust. I don't know. I don't think they've looked at it very closely. I don't think.
No, that's another mixed signal somehow.
Yeah. So, and they're saying that the kids are already referring to it as the big gorilla by the bridge. Again, go to the zoo, see what a gorilla looks like. That does
Yes,
not look like a
yes.
gorilla.
Agreed.
That's what they call the big gorilla by the bridge, which is also what they call me when I go hiking in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
Now the truth comes
big
out.
gorilla by the bridge.
Now the truth comes out, Paul.
So, contrary to its name, contrary to its name, what was I? Oh, so the Higher Love Company president, Joni Moore, says the statue is a little bit scary. So I don't see how it could be teaching kids to like Bigfoot. But she said that the company may soon go all in on the cryptid as their official mascot because everybody loves Sasquatch. So it's kind of mixed messages here, as you would say, John.
Yes.
It's a scary Bigfoot, but they also love Bigfoot, and they have 14 locations, Higher Love dispensaries.
Wow.
Yeah. But marijuana is big in Michigan, which should explain a lot.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a mixed
careful.
signal comment right there, Paul, I think. Or a little innuendo, if you ask me.
So I mentioned the city, Menominee. Menominee is part of a federal reservation for the Native Americans known as the Menominee people. And Menominee in their language means the wild rice people. Now, I'm not sure if it means that they grew wild rice or if they are wild rice people. I hope
Two ways to look at that.
they didn't explain it on Wikipedia. So, but I love the Native Americans because my favorite story is how they used to tell the white people who were coming into to take over their land that don't go in the woods because there's this big hairy 14-foot tall beast in there that's going to eat you, which was how they started the Bigfoot legend. That lot of good that did, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah, they should have said there's a big hairy beast out there who's armed and dangerous, and go home. Okay, another Bigfoot sighting if you're planning your vacation. If you're in Willow Creek, California, which is one of the designated Bigfoot hotspots in the United States. Many Bigfoot photos and videos come from Willow Creek. Stay here at the Bigfoot Hotel. 31 units, Bigfoot Motel. The DD phones. I'm not sure what DD phones, direct dial and cable.
Yeah.
That sounds
TV.
right. Direct dial.
Yeah, cable TV, a little behind the times here. If you can't find it, look for the Bigfoot statue out front. There you go. The Bigfoot Motel. Kitchenettes and suites available as well. So
Wow.
used to be a La Quinta, then it was a La Sasquatch. Now it's now it's the Bigfoot Hotel, Bigfoot Motel. And then they have Wi-Fi. They also have Wi-Fi. I went to the site. So if you see Bigfoot while you're living there, while you're staying there, you can run into your room real fast, lock the door so Bigfoot doesn't come in after you. And then you can text us on your computer or on your phone using the Wi-Fi to let us know and send us the picture. So so they've got a statue nowhere near as impressive as the one in Menominee. Yeah. Now, if you're going to go there, John, on your vacation here, it's only 1.6 miles from the Bigfoot Golf and Country Club and the Bigfoot Restaurant. And
I didn't know there was such a thing. Wow.
Look at that. I couldn't get a picture of the menu. I don't know what they serve on at the Bigfoot restaurant, but I'm sure it's tasty. The golf course, by the way, they said that it's a tough course. Toughest hole on the course is number 5 because it has a Bigfoot leg, like a dog leg, only bigger. For the golfers out there, that's a golf joke for you golfers. There's also
it's not a dad joke. It's not a dad joke. It's a golf joke.
There's a swamp ape hiding in the water hazard as well. Probably a sandworm in a sand trap, but nobody cares about sandworms. So, okay. Local story for us. Not quite a monster, but something to watch for on Lake Erie besides Bessie, which is our lake monster, the Lake Erie monster. So this is Ohio resident Connor Sonnenberg built this, a hot dog shaped boat that he sailed. Now they said sail, but it's a power boat. He's got a motor on the back of it. He's from Lake Erie, from wherever he lives, all the way to Kelly's Island, which I think is about 4 miles from the shore. So he sails in a hot dog boat. He says while he relished staying at Kelly Island, he didn't want to make a pesto himself. So reporters had to endure a chilly boat ride back with him. Catch up with the story on the shore.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Way too many times to honk there.
Right.
But this is for you, John. He's now working on a Polish dog boat with his friend named Water Ski. Polish friend, yeah, Water Ski.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a hot dog ride. I don't get he's a hot dog rider. That's what he is. He's a hot dog rider, which is also the answer to the question, what kind of women do European men want to date? A hot dog rider. That's it.
Well, okay. All right, we're running with that one.
Sorry, yeah. Well, they'll beep that out in certain southern states. That will be beeped out. Okay. The biggest story on my Facebook page this week from Fairfax County, Virginia. Police in Fairfax County were called to a motel a motel, another motel, just a regular motel, where an alligator was walking up and down
Ooh,
the hallway. Not
Oh
just
boy.
any alligator, a 6 foot long alligator
Wow.
in Virginia. Yes, Virginia.
isn't
It-
she standing a little bit too close to the alligator?
yes, yes. But if that appears to be a woman, I get it. I don't know if the alligator snuck up on her or what. That but somebody's standing behind the alligator taking a
Oh,
photo. They could have yelled and said, "Hey, lady, there's an alligator behind you."
yeah.
But she's in Virginia. She wouldn't believe that, you know. So she had to wait until the alligator caught up, and then she
I
saw it.
guess.
Yeah, yeah. So it had escaped from the room of its owner, who was transporting it from New York to North Carolina. Now, the police arrived. The alligator surrendered peacefully after receiving what it was looking for: a bucket of ice and a rare steak from room service. So, what else
Oh,
would it be out in the hallway?
sure.
Um,
Anything's possible.
well,
Anything's
yeah, well,
possible.
John, the guy who owns it, he asked the alligator where he wanted to stay. And he said, he wanted to stay at that Motel 6 because he thought it was six meant Motel 6 foot for 6 foot alligator. So it was, the
Well, there's a connection there, clearly. Sure.
pretty remote, pretty remote. So my question was, when he was driving from New York to North Carolina, where did he keep the alligator in his car?
I would hope in a cage.
And you would
You would
hope.
think a cage, right?
I
would.
was thinking maybe he keeps it in the front seat so he can use the high occupancy lanes. Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
what
Oh,
cop is
sure.
going to give him a ticket when he's got an alligator sitting in the
Oh, yeah.
passenger
True.
seat?
Oh, yeah. Sure, sure. Wow.
So this story got picked up by, and I can't believe how many places picked up this story from Facebook. So now it'll be even more places now that it's on What in the World. Okay, moving to Namibia. Okay, John, do you know where Namibia is?
No, I have no idea. You give me a hint, please.
It's in Africa. I'm not sure
Okay,
exactly
we're
where.
going to the continent of Africa, everyone.
There's a
There's
desert, the
Africa right here.
Namib Desert, which is in Namibia, and I'm not sure that I don't know how old your globe is. Maybe it's called something else. It's called who knows, Rhodesia or something like that.
No. Is it above or below the equator? That's a question.
No, it's below the equator. It's below. That's
Okay.
the Sahara. Come on,
Okay.
remember your geography. So,
yeah, kind of.
this is the oldest and driest desert on Earth. So the government, to help people out that are driving across this desert, they put this up. They put up a solar-powered refrigerator. Solar-powered refrigerator. It's pink, along with a little pink table and 2 pink folding chairs. And they filled the refrigerator with cold drinks, with soft drinks and water. I don't know if there's any beer in there, and they refill it a couple times a day. Contrary to rumors, the refrigerator is real. It's not a mirage, but there's a magnet on the front that says that somebody comes to repair it and that's a mirage. Nobody comes to repair it. Who's gonna repairman is gonna go out in the middle of the desert? If it's broken, it's broken. So there's a parking space over there where you can pull off, but they said that real traditionalists of real desert travelers, what they do is they get out of the car and then they crawl on their hands and knees with their tongue hanging out. Water, until they get up to it. And if you stay till nightfall, Paul, the desert roaches come out from underneath the refrigerator.
Oh.
You get to see those as well. How about that? So they restock it with, they said, bottled water and iced tea. Iced tea. I don't know if I would be drinking iced tea in the middle of the desert. I would think if it's sitting in the hot sun, for those of you who know Spanish, shouldn't it be stocked with Coronas? Because Corona, right? Isn't that the word for sun, John?
Yes, it is. That is correct. That's
okay.
correct.
All right. I thought I had not necessarily a good joke, but at least an accurate joke.
Well, that's important, Paul. Accuracy goes a
That's
long
what we
way.
get. We get points for accuracy. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Another animal story. The Animal Rescue League of Iowa was called in to rescue, believe it or not, a live chicken that was standing outside a Buffalo
Oh my God.
Wild Wings. Yeah, trying to get in Des Moines, Iowa. Fortunately, the chicken was captured and taken to a shelter, but not before some of the people who were inside the restaurant came out and apologized to the chicken.
Oh.
Eating wings. The manager said that he had to explain to one of his new chefs that farm to table has a couple of extra steps in the middle of it. So you couldn't just serve the chicken as is and say farm to table. You have to.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, I don't know what this. Why would the chicken be in front of a Buffalo Wild Wings unless maybe it smelled something and said, "Hey, I know that guy." Yeah.
Now, do we know where the chicken came from, Paul? Do we know where the chicken came from? Do we know that?
Yeah. They had to shut down the kitchen, after all this happened. So anyone who ordered an omelet now knows which came first.
Oh,
Right?
Hey, real quick.
Right.
So
Yep.
do we know where the chicken came from though? That's important. I've asked it a couple times.
No,
Do
they
we know
don't. So they put it up for adoption. They actually
Oh,
put it up for adoption.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, one more story here. In 1987, American Motors General Humvee, with only 1,700 miles on it, was put up for sale at an auction this week. But this is not just any Humvee. This is a customized hot rod Humvee.
Never saw anything like that before, ladies and gentlemen.
They call this a rat rod, John. You may remember from way back when, if you made model cars, there were the rat rods, but I forget who made them.
Though I don't.
Big
Yeah, I
Daddy,
remember.
Big Daddy something.
Right. I
Nope.
couldn't tell you who made them, but
Okay.
yeah.
So this is an open engine rat rod style, 750 horsepower Duramax turbo diesel V8 with distressed brown leather seats. I have a picture of the seats here. Look at those beautiful seats. Bomber bucket seats and other hot rod action put up for sale by SBX Cars, who supplied this photo. With the current highest bid, I just checked, $85,000 for this modified car.
Wow.
If you want to see more of it, you can Google Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite porn, and this is the car that comes up because he's a huge Humvee fan. This car, the 750 horsepower diesel engine, this car is so loud, the stereo system is a live band in the back seat.
Oh.
So,
wow.
John, Humvee, that stands for something, okay?
Yes, it does.
It had letters on it. I don't know if you can see the letters. The letters were HMMWV, which nobody could remember what it stood for. We all called it a Humvee. Any guess as to what it might be?
I think. Well, no, not the first word, but I think the first word is vehicle, right? I mean,
the V is
the
vehicle,
second word
right?
would be vehicle, right? I'm not sure what the first one would.
The H, high mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle. HMMWV.
Well, yeah. A letter corresponds to each word, obviously. Wow.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They had no intention of making them for the U.S. market. This was supposed to be strictly a military vehicle.
Okay.
But and they were used in the Iraq War, the first Iraq War. When the war was over, they had some left over. They had 400 of them left over. So they decided to sell them in the United States. And then that's how Arnold got his.
Okay. Huh.
They called it the H1, the Hummer H1. They finally started making it, and he was the spokesperson for it. When people ask him where he rode, he always said, "I'll be in the back."
Oh boy.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay.
I saw this story. I was thinking I would like to see a demolition derby between a Humvee and one of those Tesla trucks.
Oh,
wow, yeah.
I think I know who would win.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think there's any question there. But on that note, if you'd like to see that, by all means, check us out on YouTube. But we have reached the end of my segment of What in the World. So that means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John Denalo, my old buddy. They'll take this photo down. Oh, no, I've got photos for John there. So, but I think I have his there we go. There's his logo. So every week I ask John to find us a strange sport. John knows more about sports than I do, so it's the perfect thing. I said, just make sure it's a real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. John always comes through, and he's got it. The sport this week has a very unusual twist to it. So, John, why don't you explain that to us?
Sure, Paul, I'll be happy to. So, ladies and gentlemen, our sport this week is one that you know, but in the last place you would expect to find it. The sport sumo wrestling, and the place is New York City.
Whoa.
Let me explain. The New York Sumo Club has brought the ancient combat sport to the city to give its practitioners a place to compete, to recruit new members, and most importantly, to expose it to new fans.
Wow.
Now, the club is located in Queens and was founded in 2022 by Oscar Dolan, who was a wrestler himself and a former U.S. lightweight silver medalist. Dolan majored in Japanese in college and became a sumo fan after doing a project on the sport. He wanted to try it for himself, but there were no amateur sumo wrestling clubs in New York, so he took matters into his own hands and created his own club. Now,
Smart.
yeah, so Dolan said the club has about 100 wrestlers with 20 regulars. Members pay a $20 fee, and if you show up at least once a month, you are now considered a regular. The
Wow.
club has its own genuine portable daiho, which is a sumo wrestling ring, which is handmade and, believe it or not, imported from Japan.
Yeah, that's what they're standing on right there. Yeah.
Right. That's a doyo. Now, Dolan says the club is pretty much sustainable and it is almost profitable.
Wow.
Now, that may have changed on May 17 when the New York Sumo Club held the first annual Empire Club competition. A big crowd munched on snacks and sipped on beers as they cheered on 56 athletes who fought for a trophy, and most importantly, they fought for bragging rights. In professional sumo, the goal is to force your opponent out of the ring to win, or to make him touch the ground with anything other than the soles of his feet. Amateur sumo is the same, except it forbids explicit open handed strikes to the face and also bans a technique which is called saba'an, or a forward force down, in which a larger wrestler will lean their entire weight onto a smaller opponent.
Wow. Yeah, I want to stop you for a second there, John. For those of you who are interested in the photo, these guys are none of them are these big, huge Asian guys.
Yes.
Some of them are well built, some of them are skinny guys. And
Sure. Runs the gamut.
I didn't see
Yeah.
an Asian other than the referee.
No,
Uh,
right.
so it looks like it's appealing to a new crowd. This is what they
That's the
wanted to
goal of the
do.
club. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the goal that Dolan had. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Continue.
sure. Winners are forbidden from celebrating, and instead, what they do is they follow the Bushido traditional code of conduct of military warriors way back in feudal Japan, which emphasizes virtues such as honor and bravery. Now, Joshua Wade took silver in the middleweight division, then went on to win a series of heavyweight matches, leading to being crowned the grand champion in the open weight division. Now, if you'd like to start a sumo club in your own town, take the advice of the New York City Club. If you can sumo there, you can sumo anywhere.
Oh,
Da, da,
Well,
da,
the
da,
club
da.
the club is forward thinking. I mean, it's
Oh
a forward
yeah.
thinking sport, and they're trying to capture, like Paul said, new participants and gain some popularity. They have some significant goals they're trying to achieve. I'll keep you folks posted as time goes on.
Oh,
hey, please do.
yeah, I think it's a I think it's a great idea. I think they could catch on in a lot of places. This is the winner, by the way. This is the Joshua guy. Joshua
Joshua Wade.
now, skinny guy, he's no
No, he's
bodybuilder
not.
here.
He's
This
average build.
guy,
Yeah.
as John said, he won the middleweight division, and then he wrestled all these heavyweights that we saw pictures of, much bigger guys,
Oh
and
yeah.
won the overall championship and got himself a nice samurai sword. And I don't know what that is that he's wearing. It's
It's some
not a,
traditional costume that I can't identify. My
yeah.
research
Let's
did
leave it
not.
at
Yeah,
that.
no, my research did not
And a couple of medals,
indicate
yeah.
that.
So
Right? Yeah,
I
sure.
thought this was great. I don't ever remember anybody talking about sumo or being a sumo wrestler in the city of Cleveland, where we grew up and where we still live. But then, John, I remember back when we were in college, also in Cleveland, Ohio, uh,
Okay.
we were challenged by another fraternity to a sumo wrestling tournament. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I normally
Whoa.
don't remember. I normally do not remember all these sports that we participated in, Paul, many years ago. But I do remember the sumo. But you continue to tell the story.
Oh, what a twist here, John. So, well, I happen to have photos of it. So as always, John and I were put in charge of the competition, and neither John nor I know anything about sumo wrestling. We knew about big time wrestling, but I knew
Yeah, no, sumo
we would
wrestling was out
lose.
of our
Yeah.
scope there.
So we counter proposed. We have done this before. We counter proposed to the other fraternity. We said, how about sumo racing, where we race against you in sumo gear? And they said, and should have been a warning sign. Sure, we'll do that. So, so
Uh,
then, so John and I went looking for the suitable uniforms to wear while we were sumo racing. Oh, there's the Empire set. So here's a picture of John and I in our uniform. Now, so what we found were some inflatable sumo wrestler outfit. That's our real hair, Karen, by the way.
Yeah,
In our
yeah, I
we did
know.
have hair
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
We
back in
did have hair
college,
back
yeah,
in that
John and I
time,
both
right?
had full heads of hair and somewhat Fu Manchu-ish mustaches and beard. So I don't know what that guy is holding. Whether that must be you, John, holding the purse, a sumo purse.
Yeah, it kind of brings back a bad memory that now that you
I
think
like
of it.
the
Let's go to
shoes.
some more photos.
Yeah. So here's they agreed to race us. So look at this. Here's the race. Um, so the other brothers joined in with us and some of the other fraternities as well. So we're running over here. What we didn't count on was that the other fraternity had real sumo wrestlers on their team. And here's the finish line, which is all sumo wrestlers.
Oh,
So that
oh,
guy, the guy that won looks like he's already taking his clothes off, or
yeah.
take your jersey off. But all
Uh,
you have on is that little thing, that thong of theirs. So I'm
yeah.
either that or somebody grabbed him thinking it was a relay race. And
Oh my.
Whoa.
Oh.
anyways, all right, that's sumo wrestling in New York for our What in the World of Sport. John, thanks so much for that great sport.
You're welcome, Paul.
Now, let's see. I think that that brings us to the end of What in the World of Sports. That means it's time for everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. So I have three stories for Bluff the co-host, stories that are similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference. Those stories were real. The stories in Bluff the co-host may be real, maybe a bluff. It's up to Karen, John, and you playing at home to decide real or bluff. Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzers. Let's get right to story number one. It's the 50th anniversary of the premiere of the movie Jaws, but swimmers at a lake in Germany say they'd rather take their chances with a great white shark after they were attacked by a 7 foot long giant catfish. It's not white, but the catfish is great and hungry for human flesh, as evidenced by the 5 swimmers it attacked on one weekend with its huge mouth, which
Wow.
swallowed one swimmer's leg before he managed to pull it out and swim away. Local wildlife officials convinced one swimmer to stay in the water as bait until they finally caught the 7-foot catfish. While it's not a record, the giant hush puppies a local seafood restaurant served with the catfish might qualify. Okay, so a lake in Germany where people were attacked by a great, not white, but brown, I guess, giant catfish that they actually had to catch, or else it was going to continue to attack people. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
Well, geez, I've never heard of other fish other than sharks attacking people before. So I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Okay, that's a logical path to follow there. Karen says it's a bluff. John, how about you?
Well, I'm going to say it's real. And the reason I'm going to say it's real is that animals are capable of doing anything, right? So, I mean, let's say catfish are in the water and maybe they don't like the people near them and they attack them. So I'm going to say it's real.
Oh, okay, they smell a little wormy. So, all right. So John says the giant catfish attacking people in Germany is real. Karen says at the bluff, we'll check with the judges, and the judges say don't go in the water in Germany because there's giant catfish, man-eating
Wow.
catfish
Very good,
in the lake.
John.
Yeah.
No, wow.
I didn't think catfish got that big. 7-foot long catfish. The
Yeah,
mouth is
really.
huge. The mouth looks like a shark's mouth, except with
Wow.
the little mustaches to make it look like a catfish. So,
Mhm.
all right, John's
Okay.
ahead, 1-0.
All right. All right.
Don't get too cocky there, John, because
I
we
won't. I
have more
won't.
stories to go.
Don't
All right,
worry.
let's go to story number 2. A farmer in Spain has been trying to grow record-breaking pumpkins for years, but the title of world's largest pumpkin has eluded him so often that he's given up and is instead pursuing a new record, the world's largest pumpkin washing machine. When his wife's washer broke down, he fixed the motor, but then he couldn't get it back into the original metal container. Seeing that it was about the same size as one of his not quite record-breaking pumpkins, he emptied one out, turned it on its side, shellacked it in and out to preserve it, and shoved the motor in. He pulled the cord through a hole in the back, attached the pumpkin top to the door, and his wife now washes her clothes in a front-loading pumpkin. While he doesn't see a market for them, he hopes the Guinness people see a world record pumpkin in his laundry room. Okay, so a farmer in Spain who took his almost world record giant pumpkin and turned it into a washing machine. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm going to think this is a bluff. I mean, anything's possible, right? But I just don't see how that works. I mean, really? I mean, no, it's a bluff. It's got to be.
Okay. This is coming from a guy who has some experience with the washing machine recently.
Yes, which was not a good one, by the way. It was a
Not a good one.
negative
Okay, so
experience. Let's leave it at that.
John says the pumpkin washing machine is a bluff. Karen, how about you?
I have to agree. It has to be a bluff. Why would you even turn a pumpkin into, turn it into a carriage, not a washing machine?
Carriage. What an idea. What a novel idea there. Okay. So both Karen and John say the pumpkin washing machine is a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a bluff.
Okay, Karen, way to go.
And apparently not even a good idea. So, okay, that means the score is 2-1 with John in the lead, but points are doubled in round number 3. So Karen could come from behind and win on story number 3. Let's get right to it. The hottest new thing in vending machines is not food or cigarettes or propane tanks, but kayaks. A company in Sweden is offering the Kayakomat, a fully self-contained, self-operating kayak vending machine. The Kayakomat can hold from 3 to 12 kayaks safely locked up tight until a kayaker shows up with a cell phone. Payments are quick and easy, and the kayak is unlocked and the boater is on his way. When done, the kayak can be returned to the original kayak-o-mat or another kayak-o-mat with an empty slot. Franchises are available, so you can get in on the ground floor or river of an exciting new vending machine business called Kayak-o-mat. All right, the Kayak-o-mat from Sweden, the kayak vending machine, real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you again.
It sounds like a really great idea. You wouldn't have to have your own kayak. You just go, borrow one. But I think it's a bluff.
Oh, okay. Thinks it's a good idea, but it's a bluff.
Yeah,
John, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with Karen. I think it's a bluff. I mean, from a logical view, how big would these vending machines have to be?
Yeah.
I mean, a kayak is pretty long, right? Just in general. So I don't think it's feasible. I think it's unfeasible, as a matter of fact.
Oh, unfeasible. Word for the day from John Dinallo, unfeasible. My word is kayak-o-mat. Let's check. Both Karen and John say that that's a bluff. Check with the judges, and the judges say, well, you could be the proud owner of a kayak-o-mat franchise if you believe the story, which is true. Yeah, it is a big
Oh my
machine.
gosh, really?
Big machine. But probably run by the mob, because that's usually who runs the vending machines in the United States. So
yeah, something on the legal side there, that's for sure.
yeah,
right?
I'm guessing there's a Swedish mob that runs the kayak-o-mat vending business.
Wow.
Well, that means John won this week. So congratulations go to John.
Wow, thanks everyone.
Nice easy week. No studying this week for the
No,
the next
no
bluff to
flashcards. Oh, it's always good when I don't have to study flashcards, believe me.
All right. Well, that means we've reached the end of another episode of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Thank you for everything you do for our show and all the podcasts at newclevelandradio.net. Please go there, check out how to download us and listen, and all the other great podcasts. Then check out Yes I Can Coaching with Karen. Great coaching services from a great coach. Then I also want to thank my old buddy John Dinallo, host of What in the World of Sports, all around good guy, puts up with all my nonsense. As always, keeps coming back for more. John, thanks again for being here.
Oh, Paul, thank you, and Karen in the audience. And how could I spend my Tuesdays afternoons any better? That's what I have to say.
How sweet.
But even without donuts. Yeah, even without donuts. And of course, we couldn't do this show without our listeners. So I want to send a special thanks out to you, those that you are listening live, listening to us in the future. Thanks so much for tuning into What in the World. You're the reason why we do this every week. We hope you have as much fun listening as we do putting the show on. And we really do have a good time. That's, as John says, that's why we keep coming back every Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So thanks again for that. I hope it's cooler where you are. It's still 95 degrees here in Cleveland, but I think we're going to go out and still have a good rest of the day. Anything else, Karen?
No, I think that's it. We will see you all next week.